This is Jack with SurvivalMen.com bringing to you another gear review, knife review, the Kershaw Leek. Great blade, get right into it. First impression, typical Kershaw quality, very tight, very solid, great deployment. However, as I got into using it after a couple weeks, I found that there were some severe design flaws in my eyes. I'll get into those in a little bit. My role for this blade is everyday carry. That takes me to the size, 3-inch blade, 4 inches closed, about 3 ounces. I typically don't like to carry a blade from everyday carry blade heavier than 3 ounces because it just ends up feeling too heavy in my pocket. Ease of use, it felt easy to use when I first got it out, but as I started using it, I found I couldn't close it with one hand. I had issues with that, having to do with the release mechanism, which I'll get into. Another way I judge ease of use is I give it to my girlfriend, and I tell her to open it and shut it 10 times to see what she thinks. And her exact words were, it felt dangerous. She felt like she would probably cut herself having it. I agreed with her on that. It is a very long, thin blade, very sharp. Like I said, the 2 hands to close, I could see how it could be easy to catch your palm. I've actually caught it on my palm once or twice. Just scratched it just a little bit. Nothing major, but, you know, that doesn't happen with my typical everyday carry, which is a SOG Flash 1 with that blade. So that's a hit against it. Like I said, it feels dangerous. And I've been carrying knives for a long time. Quality, like I said, Kershaw quality, excellent steel. They've got 14C2-8N steel. I don't know what that means. I'm not a steel nut. I just know on the Rockwell hardness scale it's between 58 and 60, which is slightly harder than AUS 8, which is what most of my SOGs are. But for everything I use it for, I don't notice a difference with regards to both steels. Design and features. I'll get right into the design. There's quite a few things I don't like about it. First being the smooth handle. I live in Florida, and it's sweaty, it's hot, it's sticky, and having a smooth case is not beneficial, whether it be for a utility standpoint or a defensive standpoint. It's got a higher chance of slipping out of your hand, that type of thing. So I didn't like that. Difficult safety. I wasn't a big fan of the safety. It takes a conscious effort to activate it and deactivate it. This little nub right here, it slides back and forth. It'll slide a steel retainer over the blade as it's closed. Wasn't impressed with that. What would worry me about that is in a defensive situation, if I wanted to use it, if that had slid down and I tried to bring it out and deploy it fast, I'd have an issue with, you know, I could run into an issue where the safety had engaged, and I'd have to take a conscious effort to disable it. Next thing, speed safe. I'm real happy with their speed safe. The action, like I said, is outstanding. One aspect of this knife, the way it utilizes speed safe, is with this little nubbin on the back. My SOG only has the thumb stud, which luckily this one also has. You know, I'm happy just using a thumb stud, and here's why. When I use a thumb stud, I have a good grip on the knife. You know, it takes a little effort to activate the thumb stud, but I've got a solid grip during the deployment process. You know, my hand doesn't need to shift around. However, if I use this button on the back, I have to kind of hold it daintily in order to push that button. I don't know of a nice way to hold it that I can, you know, push that without having a, you know, a softer grip. Which, if I was to be using that in a situation where it might be a defensive situation, I'm daintily holding it, I push the blade, the blade comes out, it's got a higher chance of dropping and falling because I just don't have that grip. So I find it useless. Another disadvantage of it too is if it's in your pocket and the safety's not on, which I never use the safety on my small little everyday carries, it's easier to deploy it, maybe just a little bit. Say it may only deploy it that much in your pocket. That gives you a pretty good opportunity to stick your hand in your pocket. You can get stuck with it. Like I said, sharp point, easy to stick yourself with. So wasn't a fan of that. Next thing, the blade release mechanism is actually built into the frame. I really don't like that because in order to do that, they actually, underneath this clip, there's a big groove where they've actually cut the frame, you know, laterally here in order to make that release mechanism. Horrible design. From an engineering perspective, it's bad for structure, and I have to reach further across the blade to release it. I don't like reaching across my blades. With my SOG, it's got simply a button on the side. I pull down as I pull down just to release the blade, which means no reaching your thumb across the blade. Brings me to my next thing, the clip. The clip, I don't like it as much as my SOG. It doesn't ride as deep. My SOG kind of goes up and over the end, which is nice, whereas this one, if it's in my pocket, it's going to be like this. It's got a better chance of getting flipped and coming out. Another feature I don't care for is the durability of the actual frame itself. I'm a little anal about my equipment. I try to keep it in very good shape. I'll try to show you real quick. Let that focus in. You'll notice as it focuses, there's a lot of scratches on it. Now, I don't use my knife in the same pocket as my keys most of the time. And so this has just been from normal everyday use, or maybe the occasional time putting my keys in, and it scratched it. That doesn't impress me. It's a tungsten coat. Yeah, that's great, but I don't run into that issue with my SOG because it's got a Zytel plastic. I can put it with my keys every day and it still looks brand new. So that, another hit against the design for the Kershaw. Carrying case, there is none. It didn't come with one, but not a big deal for me. I don't really care because I don't use a carrying case in an everyday carry. It sits in my pocket. Price, I paid $50 at Walmart. Amazon has it for sale for $44. So obviously Walmart's a pretty comparable price. And brings in my overall impression of the blade. Kershaw Leek. It's a no-buy for me. I'm going to return it today to Walmart. I'm not impressed with it, mainly due to design flaws. Kershaw makes a great knife, great quality, like I said. But the design has some severe design flaws. I'll stick with my SOG Flash 1. So that brings me to an end of this review. This is Jack with SurvivalMen.com. We try to bring you gear reviews and survival articles on a weekly basis. And stay safe. Take care. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think about this blade. Thanks.